Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Winter, neurologist and sleep specialist.
I'm Drew, sleep expert.
So Drew, tell me how you got involved in the world of helping people sleep.
So originally, a childhood friend of mine moved to Northern California, so moved away and invited me to come and apply for a job he had back then. So that was my first introduction to mattresses.
I'm curious, how has that role that you play in terms of helping people find better sleep, finding the right sleeping surfaces, how has that changed over your 23 years in the industry?
A lot. So when I first started doing this, it was, I learned a lot about the product, a lot about the specs, a lot about the prices, a lot about the manufacturers, all of those things in training. And there wasn't as much involved then as there is now in terms of sleep. So that's evolved over the years. And I took some other channels through my career. So, I did work for a manufacturer, so I got to see that side. But I think it's important that it's transitioned into sleep, and it seems to be coming from all levels. So, from the manufacturers even thinking in that direction all the way down to the sales floor.
One of the things that I hear from a lot of patients and consumers in general is just the overwhelming amount of selection there is now, maybe versus when you first got into it. I mean, how do you go about helping an individual sort of navigate this vast ocean of choices, even within a particular brand, and find the sleep product that's perfect for them?
Yeah, so you're right. There are a ton of choices, and people start, online. So they're going to start looking for that purchase online and start to try to learn about those things. And so when they come into the store, we have a really specific type of process that we use, and there's 3 steps to it. So we start to narrow things down pretty quickly for them, and we're able to use really powerful technology now that is more specific to their needs, so we can address them. And it's all kinds of different pieces to the puzzle. So you have, some of it's a comfort preference, some of it are specific needs combined with a comfort preference, and different kinds of mattresses. So you have, hybrids and traditional and all these different kinds of technologies that go into making mattresses. And some feel better than others to certain people. So a lot of times you're trying to achieve the same goal in terms of what the mattress does and how it performs, just in different ways. And that can create a different feel that's more preferable to one person versus the other. So our process starts to narrow it down by the sleep surface. That's the first step. We match to pillows, so we try to align people from head to toe, making sure that they have good head and neck support. And that's, a quarter of your total support comes from a pillow, so you should line that up with the rest of the bed. And then the second step is talking about foundations and things like adjustable bases, so that we can talk about better alignment in things like neutral posture and zero gravity is what we call it in our industry. In the third step, we talk about the environment in their room in general, and that's more anything we can do in terms of helping with the room and making it more comfortable. And things like setting height come into play with those, and with that idea, mattress protectors, sheets, and bedding, and the performance of those versus what kind of mattress you're getting.
In thinking about the kinds of problems and sleep complaints that patients come to me with, I have difficulty sleeping, I awaken through the night, I sleep fine but feel tired all the time. And I'm just curious about the kinds of complaints that you see that patients are coming to you with, besides just, it's time to get a new bed.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of common sleep disruptors, and we hear most of those. So
Which one do you not hear?
Yeah, that's true. We hear a lot of them, and we try to ask quality questions and ask with a purpose. So one of the things that I talk about in training on and practicing in the showroom itself is you'll run across situations where somebody will walk up to a guest that comes into the store and greet them, and they'll say the standard, yeah, well, I'm looking for a new mattress. Okay, and the first question is, well, what size do you need? And so one of the things that I would ask them is why they asked that question, because at that point, it was really just a question to ask. It was kind of a spark the conversation kind of question, but we didn't need the information yet. So the type of questions that I encourage that we ask are some quality questions to find out more about the vague, back pain answers. A lot of people have just a general idea of they're not getting a really healthy amount of sleep. They're really focused on the mattress aspect of it, right? It's old, it's broken down. I've had it for 10, 15, in some cases 20. I think my record is And we do keep track of this, by the way. So my record is like 69 years. Somebody had a mattress
God, was it like
passed down from family member to family member.
a hair mattress? Somebody told me about a hair mattress one time. It was in
No.
their family. It kind of made me.
It goes back to like the really old school looking, like
Yeah.
a really thin, button tufted, kind of bluish colored, you know,
wow.
inner springs with a lot of cotton.
Do you have like a Hall of Fame in your showroom?
We should, yeah.
Mattresses through the years.
Can I take your picture? So yeah.